you mentioned that not all food is bad for everyone, but some food is bad for everyone, and not all food is good for everyone. So when we're talking, and especially with children, the synthetic dyes, for example, that's a huge conversation right now. Are there some kids that are less sensitive to those dyes, or is that one of those things that you would put in the category of no kid should have these dyes, artificial dyes?
It's a hard one. But yeah, I would say certain things. Sugar and food coloring and artificial ingredients aren't good for anybody.
Hmm.
They're only good for manufacturers who sell the stuff and want to make it appeal because it tastes good. Let me give you a really quick one. One of our patients a long time ago was a principal of 5 charter schools. And each day of the week, she went to a different school. And one of her things she started doing was sitting in on parent teacher kid problem meetings, like a parent
Hmm.
teacher meeting,
Hmm.
and over behavior usually. And she started asking the child, who are, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, what do you have for breakfast? So in these quote unquote sort of problem kids, what percentage do you think were eating sugary, crappy cereal in the
100%.
morning? 100%.
Hmm.
100% were eating crap for
Yeah.
breakfast. And, it just, these things make sense to you and I. But for some reason, parents still want what's convenient or taste. This is what
Hmm.
he'll eat. So,
It's
and
what he eats because that's what he know. Like my so my oldest is 4. He's never had cereal in his life. He's never seen a box of cereal, and my sister's kids live a very different lifestyle. And they came over and they brought a pantry worth of stuff that he's never seen, like Cheetos, neon blue taquitos, like sugary, like Oreo golden Oreo, and he's just looking at it. He's like, "What is all of this?" And he is just I didn't want to make it a thing. It was the holidays, like, okay, you can have a couple. And he was a different child, like off the walls, chaotic, jumping, screaming, and he's a very chill dude. Um, and it's sad because you have parents that are exhausted, overworked, feel like they're at their wits end. So like I can't wake up early enough to make breakfast. So I'm going to pour this thing of cereal, and then you think you have a problematic kid. So then you drug your kid instead of just waking up. And maybe it's going to sound judgmental. Wake up 10 minutes early and crack a couple eggs in a pan. I mean, that's what I do every day. My kids every single day have eggs, maybe some oatmeal, some kind of like meat protein and fruit. Like that's breakfast every day. It's non-negotiable. And again, he hasn't seen a box of cereal. If I started his like journey with solids with Lucky Charms, of course he's going to be like, "Oh, I don't want these eggs. Give me the sugar marshmallows for breakfast." Of course, right? So you have to kind of just take the things away. And it's not to say I haven't made missteps with diet, because I'll have like these fig bars, for example. And you're like, well, they're organic. They're at Whole Foods. They're not that bad. Well, they still have like 20 plus grams of sugar in them. So they're not great. It's still very much a dessert. And then both of my kids, they would skip their meals to go to the pantry to get these fig bars. So I had to pretty much like wean them off of these and just say, we're not buying them anymore. So that way it's not a conversation. It's not like, oh, you can have one now or one later. It's just don't have the food in the house, and then watch your kid be a different kid.
you're so right. It's you got to put an adult in charge of grocery shopping for sure.
Yes. Maybe like order, if you don't have childcare, do Instacart or Whole Foods delivers or whatever, Publix delivers. And because when you bring them with you, especially if you're going to like a regular grocery store that has all of these neon colors that are very much marketed to kids, and like all of the sweets are at the checkout aisle, it's really hard to say no when they're grabbing and just putting stuff in the cart for you. So there's workarounds, and they're not easy, and some of them aren't cheap. But I think ultimately all of these things that seem like hurdles are going to be so much better for your family, to where you're not medicating your small child. Because that's what it sounds like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden you end up there. But how many boys are put on something like Ritalin or Adderall because simply their routine is off, they're not getting enough sleep, they're watching too much screens, they're eating the wrong food, like you name the thing. So it's like until you address all of these foundational aspects of what you're kind of loading onto the kid, you shouldn't jump straight to a drug.